And joining us now is political commentator Chris Cillizza, host of So What with Chris Cillizza on YouTube. Chris, it is great to see you. You know, the major issues President Trump ran on, this is what they are. They're outlined in all of the bills that have been presented. He's committed to getting them through. Whether it's in one bill or two, it's more a conversation of strategy. Let's talk about the reaction from the Democrats for a moment. You know, you've said they're essentially condemning everything the president does, but that strategy likely isn't going to get them very far, especially if they're hoping to regain power. So what would you suggest as the best approach for the party?
Well, Kelly, Tom is right about these vote-a-ramas. It's effectively just a bunch of votes where the opposing party tries to put the majority party in tough spots and say, well, why are you voting against this thing or this thing? So that's sort of political and I think fine, because remember, a bunch of these senators are up for re-election in 2026. So you're trying to put them in spots that makes it more complicated for them to defend those votes. I just think broadly, strategically, Democrats are still a little bit lost. They don't totally know how to approach Trump, which I think makes some sense. Whether you like Donald Trump or you hate Donald Trump, he poses an asymmetric challenge, politically speaking, because he comes at you from so many different ways. Leland Vittert and I were talking about this last night. You know, this is a guy at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time on a Wednesday night is signing executive orders, right? That's not typically what we see. So there's a lot of incoming, and I think that is a messaging and a political challenge for Democrats. What you'll see play out on the Senate floor later today is actually very traditional. These sort of vote-a-rama where you vote on a million different proposals to a budget is something that's been going on for a very long time. It's probably the most normal thing you'll see out of the first 30 days of Donald Trump's presidency.
You know, I'm curious, as we're talking, Chris, do you think there's anything in these bills that the Democrats could get behind confidently or will?
So I think, again, strategically, politically, it would serve their purposes to find a way to get behind some immigration proposals that are a little bit more hardline than the Biden administration put in place. I think we could debate what the 2024 election meant, Kelly, but one of the things that clearly the signals that was sent was people feel as though the border is not secure. Our policies dealing with it are ineffective. And you've seen some of this among Democrats, and I say some advisedly. John Fetterman is the best example from Pennsylvania, a Democrat, who has said consistently, look, I agree that with President Trump that we need to have a tougher border policy. I don't know if that happens in today, but I think broadly speaking, Democrats need to understand that one of the clear messages sent from the election is people were unhappy with the 4 years of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's immigration policies, and they have to find a way, whether it's agreeing with a Donald Trump proposal or proposing something of their own that probably isn't going to get passed, candidly, but proposing something of their own that shows they are moving in a different direction on the issue. I think that's a place where they could and should move.
Yeah, an opportunity to read the room for sure. You know, how do you, Chris, weigh the potential move of risking a government shutdown? It's always dicey, but to essentially show their base, they're working to stop President Trump's agenda.
I think it's very fraught, Kelly. It's a very high stakes. It's a game of chicken, right? Two cars heading toward one another. No one's totally sure who's going to make it through. That's always the case with these government shutdowns. On the Democrats, in the Democrats' favor is the fact that Republicans control everything, right? They control the White House, the Senate, and the House. And I think the average person, broadly speaking, knows that. On the other hand, the politics of government shutdowns are very unpredictable. I don't know if that is where Democrats want to be at the moment. I think they need to show we have an agenda that is not just we hate Donald Trump. Because while the liberal base does hate Donald Trump and wants to hear more of that, it's not enough, as we saw in the 2024 election. It's not enough to win them a national majority of the vote. So
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.